Hello and welcome to my complete visitor's guide to Mahabalipuram. If you have clicked on 50 videos with English titles and thumbnails only to discover they're actually in Tamil or Hindi, you are in the right place. I've been here twice and I will try to give you a complete guide for the perfect visit in this video. The most obvious question first, why visit Mahabalipuram? Is it worth it? Yes, it is. This is considered the birthplace of Southern Indian Dravidian architecture. There are about 20 very well preserved archaeological sites in very close proximity to each other. The earliest dating to the mid 7th century, the latest to the mid 16th century, but the vast majority being from between the third quarter of the 7th century and the second quarter of the 8th century. Every temple you see in Tamil Nadu is the grandchild, great great grandchild stylistically of the temples here in Mamallapuram. It's also not wildly inconvenient or expensive to get there. It's about an hour and a half drive south of Chennai and around a 2-hour drive north from Puducherry. The ticket counters open at 6 a.m., so most people leave from either Puducherry or Chennai very early in the morning, spend the whole day at Mahabalipuram, and return in the evening. The ticket counters close at 6 p.m. You can definitely spend a full 12 hours there. You can take trains, buses, vans, tours. I don't know anything about that. I always hired a private driver and have paid between 3,500 and 5,500 rupees for that service. There are reputable tour companies like Chennai Travels that sell day tour packages that are all inclusive for perhaps a little less money. They price an 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Chennai Mahabalipuram tour between 3,500 and 4,200. But I do like having the flexibility of stopping wherever I want and going from Chennai to Pondicherry or vice versa. 3,500 rupees is 42 US dollars, 5,500 is 66 US dollars. If you hire a private driver, expect to pay closer to the high end but get better service. And if you try Ola or Uber, you're going to get a lower price, but obviously no guarantees about quality of communication, condition of vehicle, etc. On the Ola and Uber apps, these are considered outstation trips, not hourly rentals. The big difference being that for outstation trips, you are responsible for tolls and gas, which will run you another 1,000 rupees ish, maybe more, maybe 1,200, maybe 1,300. So around $15 on top of the price, depending on the type of vehicle you're in, mini or SUV. Another reason to get a private driver, a friend of a friend or something if you can, is that these Ola and Uber drivers love to lie about how much petrol and tolls cost. If you don't know anyone or don't know who to ask, another option is to book the Ola or the Uber and then tell them your plan, what you want to do, and that you'll pay them cash when they arrive. A lot of these drivers do this all day for a job anyway. They're happy to cut out the middleman and chauffeur you around for the day, wait for you there, bring you back home, or onwards to Pondicherry or Kanchipuram for an agreed upon price. 5,000 rupees, if they pay for all gas, all tolls, and chauffeur you around, not just disappear to take a nap while you're out and about, is a well-paid day of work for them. In terms of etiquette, if you are going to be with the same driver for many hours, perhaps over 6 hours in a day, they're going to need to eat. They're probably going to need to take a nap. Agree on those times in advance, so there's no miscommunication. Neither of you feels disrespected or left hanging, and the day doesn't go sour. Also, considering the low prices of museum tickets for Indians, I offer to buy them an entry ticket so they don't feel they have to sit in the hot car all day. Honestly, it's like 50 cents. It's no skin off my teeth. Sometimes drivers don't want to come in, they want to do their own thing. Sometimes they're just hanging back because they're worried you will feel like they are following you, but they're actually quite bored. So I always offer. Likewise, because the European restaurants are consistently terrible in India, If I feel like eating local food and ask them to suggest a place, I'll always ask them if they want to have lunch with me and pay for their lunch if they do. Again, it's like $4 max. And they're typically doing me the favor of finding a clean place where I won't get sick because, unlike me, they can actually ask the people around where is good. You know how it goes. Some people like to practice their English, some don't, but try to establish a positive rapport with your driver. So, how should you prepare? First, bring cash. You're probably going to have to pay for your ride there with cash. The tickets are cash. The restaurants and shops in town are cash. A temple ticket for Indians is 40 rupees. For foreigners, it's an outrageous 600 rupees or about $7.25. The lighthouse ticket is separate. It is 10 rupees for Indians, 30 rupees for foreigners. The lighthouse ticket is fun. They don't technically have a separate price for foreigners, but they will charge you the 10 rupee ticket price and the 20 rupee videography price, even if you're not carrying a camera. They will pretend not to speak English if you object. On one hand, who cares? 20 rupees is like 25 cents. On the other, I really wonder if the ticket maker and the ticket taker are just paying their rent with 20 rupees stolen from this foreigner and that foreigner every hour of every day. In terms of stuff you need, sunscreen and a hat and an umbrella, an absolute must. There's no shade from the trees, not a single gazebo, and the temperature hits 30 every day of every month except December and January. I understand it may look overcast in my videos. I assure you I burnt like a lobster after I accidentally left my umbrella in the lighthouse. You'd also do well to bring lots of water bottles, as the roadside vendors seem to exclusively sell very overpriced, very likely refilled bottles and warm sugary sodas. There is one old man chopping coconuts across from Arjuna's penance, thankfully. Without him, I think I would have fainted twice over. The bathrooms are pretty gross. I recommend bringing wet wipes, sanitizer, and little trash bags to clean your privates and your feet and dispose of your waste. India doesn't have mini-mart chains like other parts of Southeast Asia, so you won't see anywhere to stop and buy basics just driving through the village. You have to come prepared. A fully charged phone, camera, and extra batteries and charging banks are also a must. Businesses in India never have working electric outlets for the convenience of their customers. It's nothing like other countries where you can expect to charge your phone while eating at a restaurant or while shopping around at a boutique, and drivers never have anything but jacked up old USB chargers in their cars. Speaking of dining and shopping, don't bother. There's nothing good in Mahabalipuram. The village is a walk away, and it's hard to even find a restaurant with seating and a fan among all the tourist tat shops. There's certainly nothing air conditioned. Even worse, a lot of these places close at 2 or 3 p.m. and don't open again until 7. It's really one of those places where they can charge the highest prices for the worst service and food because tourists are never going to stop coming to see these rocks. Bring snacks in the car if you need them. And if you haven't had time to educate yourself about the importance of the site, definitely do so on the ride over, because the informational plaques here tell you almost nothing. The Archaeological Survey of India has posted some great 3D images and basic facts on Google Arts and Culture. The link is in the description box below. The imagery is truly outstanding. The explanations are accurate and precise. I highly recommend you read through it before visiting, or even keep the page up on your phone while you're there to remind yourself of the importance of the various sites. Likewise, Doordarshan, an Indian public broadcast channel, also has an excellent episode called The Sculpture of India, Glory of Mamallapuram that I will link to below. It was very difficult to wade through the piles of low quality, low info, non-English language videos about this site. I found this to be the best synopsis by far from an art history standpoint. It's only 25 minutes long and it's quite detailed. And I recommend watching it before visiting. Whether you're driving from Chennai or Pondicherry, you'll certainly have time to watch that video and my video. Finally, and this annoyed me the most, when you get there, there's no map. They don't give you a map, they don't sell you a map, and the map they have on a sign outside is bad. So here's a map that actually has a complete list of all the sites so you can orient yourself and make sure you don't miss anything. Pause this video, take a screenshot, you will need it later. If you rely on your driver or a tour guide to show you around, they'll bring you to the Five Ratas, Arjuna's Penance, the lighthouse, the shore temple, and they'll want to go home early, pretending you've seen everything. Given the lack of maps, it's easy for them to rush you and confuse you. Don't let them. Take your time, check out as many of the 20 sites as you feel like. There are at least 3 different parking areas. There's one by the Five Ratas, one by Arjuna's Penance, and one by the Shore Temple. I believe they charge the drivers 30 or 40 rupees to park. Don't let your driver sit at the Five Ratas all day while you're hiking around one heartbeat away from heat stroke. Make sure you have their number to call them or text them before you exit the vehicle. Do not communicate via the apps. Make them drive you if you're tired. Okay, I think that's it. I think that is all my practical advice for having a great day trip to Mahabalipuram. Once you've been, let me know in the comments below. Did you actually find a good restaurant? Did you stay at a decent hotel there? Share your knowledge so fellow tourists can benefit. And I will see you shortly with a brief tour of the sites.